When you arrive at the airport, first you go inside. At the door, you see many people with bags and suitcases. The airport can look busy and a little confusing at first, but there is a clear order. If you have your passport, your phone, and your flight information, you are ready to start. After you go inside, the first thing you do is check your flight information. On the big screens, you can see your flight number, airline, and your counter number. It is important to find the correct flight. Then people usually go to the check-in area with their luggage. Then you go to the check-in area. If you have a suitcase, you give it there. The worker asks for your passport, checks your flight, and takes your bag. Then the worker gives you your boarding pass. This card is very important because you need it again later. If you did online check-in before, this part can be faster. But if you have luggage, you may still need to go to the counter. After check-in, the next step is passport control. You wait in line, and when it is your turn, you give your passport to the officer. Sometimes the officer only checks it. Sometimes the officer asks a short question. Many people feel nervous here because the place is quiet and serious. But usually this step is short, and then you continue. After passport control, you go to security control. Here you put your bag, phone, metal things, and sometimes your belt into a tray. Your bag goes through the machine, and you walk through the security gate. Then you take your things again. The most important thing here is not to forget anything. After all these steps, you are now in the waiting area. At this point, many people feel more relaxed because the main checks are finished. Here, the most important thing is to check your gate number again. Sometimes the gate can change. After you find your gate, you can sit and wait, drink a coffee, or walk around a little. Then boarding time gets closer. People start to stand near the gate. Everyone looks calm, but most people listen carefully for the announcement. When boarding starts, people go one by one. The worker checks your boarding pass, and then you walk to the plane. This is the moment when the trip starts to feel real. When you enter the plane, first you find your seat. You put your small bag in the overhead bin or under the seat. Then you sit down, fasten your seatbelt, and get ready. The cabin crew gives safety instructions. When the plane starts to move, the airport slowly stays behind. Then the plane takes off. It goes faster and rises into the sky. For some people, this moment is exciting. For some people, it is a little stressful. But after a few minutes, the plane becomes more stable and the trip feels calmer. Now the airport part is finished and the flight part begins. During the flight, people do different things. Some people rest, some listen to music, some watch a movie, and some look out of the window. Sometimes time goes fast and sometimes it feels slow. But after some time, the captain speaks and the landing time begins. Before a landing, everyone fastens their seatbelt again, fixes their seat, and gets their things ready. As the plane gets closer to the ground, you may feel some movement. Then the wheels touch the runway and the plane lands. At this moment, many people feel more relaxed because the most important part of the trip is finished. After the plane stops, you leave the plane with the other passengers. You walk through the airport corridors, and depending on the country, sometimes you go to passport control again. If you have luggage, you go to the baggage area. There, you wait for your suitcase and take it when you see it. At the end, you leave the airport. When you go through the exit door, the whole airport process is finished. Sometimes someone is waiting for you. Sometimes you take a taxi or another kind of transport. At first, the airport can look long and confusing, but step by step, it becomes simple.